Mexico and China have issued warnings of retaliatory measures, and Canada urged unity as U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's tariff announcements rallied the world markets and unsettled its neighbors and China. Trump chose trade lawyer Jamieson Greer as his new U.S. trade representative, elevating a key veteran of his first term trade war against China. Here's a report.
The leaders of Mexico and Canada have urged dialogue and cooperation after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump pledged to impose 25% tariffs on two countries when he takes office early next year. Trump has also promised 10% additional tariffs on all imports from China. China too responded by saying that economic and trade cooperation is mutually beneficial for both the countries and that no one will win a trade war or a tariff war. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke to Trump on the phone shortly after he announced his plans. Trudeau has since said that he is prepared to work with the US in a constructive way.
I had a good call with Donald Trump last night again. We obviously talked about laying out the facts, talking about how the intense and effective connections between our two countries flow back and forth. We talked about some of the challenges that we can work on together. It was a good call. This is something that we can do, laying out the facts, moving forward in constructive ways. This is a relationship that we know takes a certain amount of working on, and that's what we'll do.
The other neighboring country, Mexico, also urged caution. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said neither threats nor tariffs would solve the issues raised, and also warned of retaliatory tariffs on US imports if Trump goes ahead. She said that she is planning to write to Trump, stressing the need to work together on joint challenges.
A un arancel vendrá otro.
To one tariff will become another, and so on, until we put our common businesses at risk. Mexico's main exporters to the United States, which came to Mexico 8 years ago, why put a tax on them that puts them at risk? Why put a tax on them that puts them at risk? It is not acceptable and would cause the US and the Mexico inflation and job losses. I think that there's going to be an agreement with the United States and with President Trump.
No es aceptable.
During highly charged presidential campaign, Trump repeatedly promised increased tariffs on all imports into the US. Team Trump portrayed the tariffs policy as a key tool to bring back jobs and manufacturing from overseas. However, the experts believe that the new tariffs can have serious implications not only for the US but also for the global supply chains and companies that do business with some of the world's largest economies. Trump made his threat in social media posts announcing 25% tariffs against neighbors Canada and Mexico, and also 10% additional tariffs on China if they don't stop illegal immigration and drug smuggling into the United States. Bureau Report, TD India.
Well, President-elect Donald Trump on Monday pledged tariffs on the United States' three largest trading partners, Canada, Mexico and China, would affect a wide range of industries, including oil, natural gas, agriculture and manufacturing, potentially altering long-established trade patterns and supply chains. Now let's take a look at the commodities and energy sectors which may be affected. In the oil sector, Canada exported some $177.19 billion in energy products to US in 2023. Crude imports from Canada make up more than a fifth of all oil that US refineries process. About 70% of imported Canadian barrels go to Midwest US refineries. Many of those would struggle to find a direct replacement for Canadian oil. In 2023, Canadian crude oil exports to US were above $110 billion. Now let's take a look at the GS imports into the US. US imported about 8.5 billion cubic feet per day of natural gas during the first 8 months of 2024 from Canada and Mexico. Most of this year's gas imports, about 8.4 BCFD, came via pipelines from Canada. Coming to agriculture and farm products now, US imported $40.1 billion of Canadian agricultural products last year, making Canada the second largest origin of US agricultural imports behind Mexico. United States imported nearly $6 billion of Canadian livestock products last year. Canada also supplies the United States with nearly half of its imports of vegetable oils and lumber and other forest products. Further, US imported $45.4 billion of agricultural products from Mexico in 2023. About two-thirds of all US vegetable imports and half of fruit and nut imports come from Mexico. Sugar is another major agricultural produce that is traded between the neighbors. US imported 521,000 short tons of sugar from Mexico in 2023 and 2024 under a bilateral trade deal that reduces the import taxes on sugar from Mexico. It was nearly 15% of all US sugar imports of 3.76 million short tons in the last season. Also, US imported about 13 million tons of potash last year, of which 85% came from Canada.